The night the tavern turned. The tavern does not usually hurry. It wanders at its own pace, listening to the pull of roads and need, choosing when to arrive and when to pass quietly by. I've learned to trust it, to let it lead. But one night, without warning, the floor lurched, not violently, decisively. The mugs rattled, the fire bent sideways, the windows showed stars that were not where they had been a moment before. The tavern had turned. I steadied the bar out of habit, though I knew better. When the tavern moves like that, it has already decided. Outside, the door opened onto a narrow road dusted with ash and moonlight. And there, sitting on a milestone too large for her frame, was a girl. She couldn't have been more than 10. Her cloak was too thin. Her hands were clenched in the fabric, as though letting go might cause the world to slip away entirely. She did not cry. That worried me more than tears ever could. I brought her inside without questions. The tavern softened itself for her. The fire lowered. The light warmed. The air grew still. It does that for the young and for the broken. She sat where I placed her, ate when food appeared, stared into the hearth as if it were the only thing still speaking a language she understood. My parents are gone, she said eventually. Not dead, not lost, gone. They told me to wait, she continued. So I did, but they didn't come back. There are things I have learned not to correct. Grief needs room to name itself in its own way. So I said, "You waited well." Her shoulders trembled then, not with sobs, but with the effort of staying upright under something too heavy for her years. "I don't know where to go," she whispered. The tavern creaked softly, like an old chair adjusting its weight. For once, I agreed with it completely. She stayed the night, then another. The tavern lingered near that road longer than it ever should have. Travelers passed through, merchants, pilgrims, quiet souls with their own hurts, and without knowing why, they spoke gently around her. One taught her a card trick, another fixed a tear in her cloak. Someone left behind a small wooden bird carved with care. She watched everything. Children who lose their parents learn quickly how to observe, how to measure safety, how to survive by noticing. One evening she asked me, "Do places ever miss people?" "Yes," I said, "more than you'd think." She nodded as if that answered something she'd been holding inside. That night, the tavern shuddered again, softer this time, and I felt it asking a question it rarely voices aloud. How long? I knelt beside her chair. The tavern can't stay forever, I said gently, but it doesn't leave people the way roads do. She looked up at me, eyes tired but steady. Will it forget me? No, I said, it already knows you. When morning came, a real one with birds and pale light, the tavern stopped beside a village just waking from sleep. Smoke curled from chimneys. Someone laughed somewhere. Life imperfect but continuing. She stood at the door, small hand wrapped in her sleeve. I'm scared, she admitted. So is everyone who survives, I told her. That's how you know you're still choosing to live. A woman from the village approached, not summoned, not warned, just drawn by quiet certainty that someone was needed. The girl hesitated, then turned back to me. Did the tavern come for me? She asked. I thought of that sudden turn, the rattling of mugs, the way the fire leaned toward her before I ever did. Yes, it did. She nodded once, as though filing that knowledge somewhere safe. Then she stepped out. The door closed. The tavern waited a moment longer than necessary. Then gently it moved on. I've poured many drinks since that night, heard many stories, helped where I could, but every so often the floor creaks just slightly, not enough to turn, not enough to stop, just enough to remind me. Some losses are so heavy that even wandering places will change their course to help carry them. And when they do, they never forget who they turned for.